guys? It's Ian from Popmarket. I'm here with Ben Rutner, aka DJ b-roc of the Knox.
What's up, guys?
We're at Heavy Rock Studios in the heart of Chinatown, Lower Manhattan. So we're here to just chat about records, talk to Ben. Ben got his start spinning vinyl, and even before that, getting into skating, punk rock. So why don't you give us and people a little history about what turned you on to vinyl, what's special about it, and just what drew you to vinyl over something like CD or...
I think for me is I just grew up in a house where my parents were just huge music fans. They weren't musicians, so to speak, but they were just huge fans. And we always had a shelf of vinyl in the house, and we had a record player. We never really used the record player until I started showing interest in it, because I was just into music in general, and my sister was really big in kind of the punk rock scene in the 90s. She was big into that stuff. And I always would see her 45s. I just thought it was such a cool, appealing thing. You love the artwork as a kid, you think it's so cool. And then I got into hip-hop DJing, which obviously scratching is a big part of that, scratching vinyl. So I used to just take my parents' records and put it on their turntable and mess with them, but I got in trouble for that a lot.
Cool, so we pulled a few records out of the shelf.
The first one is the Gorillaz album. This record for me was one of the first times I really was so blown away by just how it sounded. It was just so different. When this came out, it was just what is this? I didn't get it. I was young and I didn't get I didn't understand how is it a band. I didn't understand the idea there was producers and producer bass and that they were faceless and this whole thing. I just thought it was the most interesting thing ever. And yeah, and I used to buy a lot more vinyl as a kid, and I had to have every favorite record of mine on vinyl, and this was a big one. I don't think I probably even listened to it that much. I just wanted to have it.
Especially ones that mean a lot to you.
That's a big one. And I think for our music, the Knox stuff, they're a big influence in the sense that they're so genreless and really cross genres with different kind of sounds and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's so punk influenced, which is so cool.
Totally.
And the other one here is Fatboy Slim, Rockefeller Skank. I'd say it's so important to me because I think Fatboy Slim kind of crossed the boundaries of hip hop and dance music. It was very much dance music, but it was so much hip hop samples, and some of them had weird rap parts on them and shit like that. And I thought that was so cool. And I think this Fatboy Slim is the first thing I remember being really into. That was I wasn't into house music at all growing up. Really, I thought house was lame. I was into hip hop, and then I was into kind of funky stuff, and this was all that stuff mixed up.
We used to make fun of the techno kids.
Totally, yeah, totally.
He kind of made it cool.
No, he totally did, and it was and he had the songs on the radio. Rockefeller Skank was on the radio. It's you can't think of a song that's on the radio now that doesn't have a verse, chorus. So it's a good one. Other one, this is just a cool one. This is my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs picture disc. I had this.
It's a serious collector's piece, people.
Yeah, I guess it just was always sitting on the shelf in my house, and it was my sister's. I don't think I even listened to this one ever. Look how cool it is.
Yeah. Look at that attention to detail. Zoom in on that.
Get that.
Let me just see this.
One side is so much more faded than the other side, you can tell, because I just never took it out. It's just 35, so she must have had it when she was a kid. So yeah, this is my only picture disc I think I had. And then these ones I had to pull out because they're classic, what we call break records or scratch records, and it's by this label called Dirt Style, which was founded by some of the most biggest pioneers in kind of hip hop scratch DJing, which is that guy Mixmaster Mike, who's speaking of the Beastie Boys, was the Beastie Boys DJ. A-Track, who now is on to be a big DJ, obviously. This guy Qbert, who's kind of a game changer for that kind of stuff. He did a lot of visual stuff, and they always had really cool graphics. This was kind of these graffiti based. They're all from the Bay and stuff, and it's really I have multiple copies. I probably have 4 copies of this one because they would get so worn out from scratching them. So you just have to buy more copies because you just sit there and you'd be running it back and forth over 2 sounds. So you had doubles because you did the thing where you go back and forth. They would sell these for a good amount of money. You could only get them in certain specialty places.
DJ stores.
You usually have to order them online, really. But look how cool the art. I have it framed
cool.
on. I have my 4 favorite ones framed on the wall here. But this is kind of a dying thing now because you don't need a scratch record. You have Serato, and you can literally make your own line. Because it used to be you'd have a line of sounds that you want to use in your routine or whatever, and now you can just make it yourself on GarageBand and put it on your Serato and scratch.
You got to keep it alive, man.
You can just say your name on a microphone and scratch it, yeah.
So for all you guys that are not aware, the Knox just recently put out their debut album, 55, about a month ago? A little over a month?
Yeah, March.
So it was a very important release.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of stress in getting it out. Yeah. The final product is fantastic.
Thank you.
It features collaborations with Wyclef, Walk the Moon, Carly Rae Jepsen, a lot of up-and-coming pop stars, hip-hop stars. Really eclectic mix of collaboration. So we wanted to talk to you about that. How did you come to gather all of these kind of disparate but still awesome artists to work with you guys? Yeah, and what was your vision for those features?
The vision for that was kind of you know, dance music is in such a weird place right now. It's like such a bubble. Everyone says it's bursting, but then it's kind of not bursting. And it's kind of, you know, it's always going to be around. And there's a lot of people featuring artists on stuff. We wanted to have features that like other people didn't have. You know, there's a couple, like the one guy that I think we had that a lot of people have is Matthew Coma, but a lot of them, like Carly Rae Jepsen has never featured on something before. Wyclef has never done. I mean, he did like one dance song, but so like Ex Ambassadors, like who come from a full rock band on like a house song. You know, I think it's cool to do that, and that's how the cool stuff comes out. And I think, and it's more interesting. Like we have Cameron on a song that sounds like it could be like a electro song. You know, it's like try to keep it different like that, and not just have the same old featured singer that's on every EM song. You know, and it goes with our style. Like our whole thing is trying to be eclectic and keep it switched up. And also J-Pat sings on a couple of them. I think moving forward, we're probably gonna have less features and more J-Pat singing.
Got it. One more question. So you guys have been active on tour recently, just opened for Justin Bieber, doing a lot of gigs. Live show has always been a very important part of the band. I want to know if you could pick one artist or band, dead or alive, to open for on a world tour, who that artist would be and why.
Probably be Daft Punk, because they're like one of the biggest influences of ours, at least I think, for dance music. And our music kind of fits with theirs a little bit. You know, you want a tour to make sense. Like we went on tour with Sleigh Bells once, which was a weird combo.
Yeah.
We did some shows with Die Antwoord too. That was a weird one.
Plus you get to see Daft Punk every
day.
day.
And you get to see Daft Punk every day. You get to hang out with them maybe.
Okay, so the Knox is a duo. Ben and J-Pat, who's currently in the studio, laying some funky bass lines. We were curious if there's one band that the two of you completely disagree on.
For me, it's like I listen to so much like really sad music. Like I love like really sad music, like Iron and Wine and that kind of stuff. And he does not have the time for that at all. He doesn't. He's like, why would I want to listen to sad music? Which I understand. But I feel like we make so much happy music that I like need to go and listen to like
to balance it out.
Yeah, I need like my fix. It's like a drug.
Yeah,
I need to get really depressed because I'm so happy making music all the time.